peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you Africans and African heads of state, wherever you are, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife, conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising. Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us have a peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for your patronage on with us, for us, and by us on our station, Punchline Africa Television. This is the only television in Africa, online digital platform, the first one of this kind in Kenya that talks about Africa, that talks about what ails Africa, what makes Africa ugly, what goes wrong with Africa, why Africa, and why do we always have problems at the last minute? Why do we change? Why do we become colonial hangovers? Are we the right people in the right continent? These are the questions that I pose on such a show. This show is Diplomatic Leaks. We go behind the scenes and see what the diplomats think about each country in Africa. We gather information. We receive information from the good, the bad, and take the best. This is the television. Today, I will touch on a very important issue, a matter that touches the heart of East and the Central and the whole of Africa, and the entire Africa, and touches African Union. Are we united in Africa, really? Is there African Union? Do we talk in one language? If so, why are we more divided than ever before? With me in the studio this afternoon is none other than my co-host, my young co-host, Miriam Ogutu.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Miriam. I will dwell on the first part, and she will come in to interrogate me in the second part. I would like people, the students of international relations, whether you are in the university or whether you are anywhere and you are on holiday or you are still in the university, pick a pen and write notes. Pick a pen and study from us. Our television does not only talk and talk and talk. We are not a money-making television. We are an educative system, a system with digital platforms that are available in the world. We are utilizing them efficiently. I remember when we started this television station, people thought we could not go far. We are online now. And we are the only people online who are able to disseminate information, deliver it on your telephone. Viewers, today's topic is very important to the people of Kenya in the sense that Kenya needs every support. Kenya needs the support to garner the United Nations seat. Kenya is the beacon of hope. Kenya is an island of peace. Kenya has stood by the people of this region in their times of turmoil. Uganda has been in turmoil. Rwanda has been in turmoil. Burundi has been in turmoil. South Sudan is in turmoil. Somalia is in turmoil. Kenya has stood, and Kenya has prevented any further incursions into by accelerating the war or making it difficult for those countries to return to peace. Kenya played a pivotal role in bringing about peace in northern Uganda. All of us were in Juba, and Kenya's foreign minister, Moses Wetangula, together with President Kibaki, played a role in making sure that the Uganda government, the Uganda people agree on the table in Juba. We led delegations, we met, peace returned. Kenya has played a role on Burundi. Kenya played a role on Rwanda. Kenya has played a role on DRC Congo. Kenya has played a role in South Sudan. Kenya has played a role in the Greater Sudan to bring about the existence of South Sudan and the Khartoum government. Viewers, wherever you are, the diplomatic leaks, we go behind the scenes, as I've told you. And I'm one person on African continent who has taken the Nyerere version. I will not keep quiet. The best thing you can never do for me, oh God, and I ask for it. Don't bring me falsehood and lies. Only give me my daily bread. I will be all right. I will be all right. Don't take me to poverty or riches, but leave me with my daily food. My daily bread will always be the truth and nothing but the truth. I will deliver the truth as far as Africa is concerned. I have nothing that I can hide, neither will I have anything that I fear except God. There is one thing that I want to say tonight and this evening and this afternoon. Wherever you are in the morning, wherever in New York, waking up, listen to this voice here. Look at it. What we say always comes true. 11 years ago, I told the people that the International Criminal Court is fake. Today, I'm vindicated. Today, as I sit here, indeed, they proved to the world that they are fake. Indeed, they messed people's lives, yet they were doing it with intermediaries. Hallelujah. What is that, God? You gave me the vision. You gave me the light. You gave me the wisdom. You gave me the channel to defend Africa. And I will not keep quiet when Africa has a problem. Today, Djibouti, a country that is colonized and is still under colony of the French. Today, Djibouti stands as a satellite system of the French operating chaos in this region. Today, Djibouti does not want to listen to African Union. Djibouti does not want to listen, stand with us. When we say the voice of Africa, Djibouti says the voice of France. When we say the voice of Nkrumah, Djibouti says no, the voice of Mitterrand. When we say the voice of Nyerere, Djibouti says no, the voice of Macron. When we say we work together as Africans to deliver Africa from poverty, ignorance, disease that has been brought in by the same superpowers that have captured this continent, taken our resources, turned back to laugh at us and given us aid. Djibouti says, no, we rather deal with them. Djibouti is a country that has now teamed up with international mercantile capitalism systems to molest the rest of Africa. Was it worth it for Djibouti to start a journey of opposing another East African state? The answer is definitely it wasn't worth it. But why did Djibouti stand up on its own and wake up and walk into the United Nations and deliver its candidature against the African people? Why? And why? Why has Djibouti forgotten that the African Union is the vanguard of the African vision? Why has Djibouti decided to do what it has done? The reasons, Miriam will narrate them. Some of them are very clear. I've told you, Djibouti remains a satellite state. a state governed by not the president of Djibouti that you see the portrait, but it's governed by malcontents that are foreign agencies that manipulate, supply, equip logistically the government of Djibouti. Djibouti has been told we are in IGAD. I give an example of the summit that took place in Addis Ababa last week. Djibouti became a nuisance in the middle of IGAD. IGAD has so many problems. IGAD wants to solve the war in South Sudan. IGAD wants to solve the war in Somalia. Djibouti has teamed up with Somalia to frustrate the efforts of a peaceful coexistence in this region. Djibouti works hand in hand on the elements of Total Oil, the money pumped through by Total Oil, which is actually buying every asset in Somalia in preparation for a war in this region. Djibouti is fighting a proxy war, accelerating a proxy war to dismember Africa. The Horn of East Africa will see this war coming in few months or years to come. There is something that has struck me. Why Africa? Why is it that the same countries that praise Kenya during daytime, at night they tell Djibouti, don't remove your candidature? Why? Why so? The same countries that we have given hospitality, that the government of this country has given hospitality, turn around on Kenya at night. Norway, it has always supported the axis that always opposes Kenya on international fora. Remember when Kenya wanted to make Al-Shabaab, proscribe Al-Shabaab as a terrorist organization that maims, that kills, that destroys property in this region. Djibouti sided with them to deny us that gazettement of Al-Shabaab as a terrorist organization that has killed many Kenyans, left many Kenyans with limbs cut, destroyed the property of Kenyans, tortured us psychologically, left us with so many wounds that we might take time to heal. Djibouti stood with America. Two things work in this region. For those students who don't know what international conspiracy, why Djibouti is fielding the candidate, it's purely international interest. Djibouti has seven bases lined along its coast, from Russia, from America, from France, from other countries that you can read and find out. These bases rely on the government of Djibouti. And as a result, therefore, they cannot allow, they are telling us a lie at night. In the morning, they are with Kenya, and in the evening, they are doing something wrong. What can we do from here? Let's keep a watch. The diplomats are lying to us. We want to tell the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we thank them for the very energy they have put in making sure that Kenya wins this slot. But the truth comes, there comes a time when you say it as it is. I'm not a diplomat. I'm an investigative journalist and also a very staunch international activist. You touch any African country in international scenes, I will be there for you. I will come for you. I stand by Africa. I stand by Africa, with Africa, for Africa. And I will never betray you. We also encourage people who help us in Africa. We have never said we want to help ourselves only. But the danger that we have, as in countries that have been colonized, is we have allowed the colonizers even to colonize us. We have gone underwater thinking that the rain will not reach us. We work with these countries underwater. We avoid saying the truth when time is needed and the time is there to say the truth. Viewers, that is the Africa we have. That's the East Africa we have. I told you there's a proxy war looming in this East African region. A very great proxy war. A war that you might say I am a madman. Does it occur to you that the President of the Republic of Burundi does not travel to any other East African state? Why? Does it occur to you that Somalia turns on Kenya, accuses Kenya of so many things, that including bringing in other forces into Somalia at the expense of the AMISOM? Does it occur to you? Does it occur to you that the border between Uganda and Rwanda is still closed as we speak now? Who controls this war? Who has a key to the proxy war that we are fighting in this region? Can somebody somewhere tell President Museveni and President Kagame, why should our trucks, our trailers be confiscated in your own countries? Whatever country you are in, Uganda or Rwanda, why should an ordinary businessman suffer because his trailers has been confiscated? And you don't allow them to go into one country. Can somebody tell me why Kagame has said Rwandese should not go to Uganda, and the Rwandese have to fly to Nairobi in order to reach Entebbe or Kampala? Can somebody tell me today, in this world of Africa where we are seated, if it is not that external power that is dividing us in Africa, what else is killing Africa? I would like to see, maybe Miriam has answers, that you detain somebody's trucks for almost 4 months, 6 months. He can't earn a living, and the trucks are on the other side, and you close the border. The businessmen that have been suffering from Rwanda, from Uganda, from Rwanda, they cannot even cross the border. Does it occur to you that there is something that has put a knife on the things that held us together, and we have lost it? Indeed, we have lost it. President Uhuru Kenyatta, the developments that are taking shape in this region, as a Pan-African, my dear brother, they give you sleepless nights. You cannot imagine that two countries that have been friends, friendly, all of a sudden close a border, and the trucks, the business, they don't care about the business. They have not cared whether Ugandans feed on Rwandese or Rwandese feed on Ugandans. There are people suffering. There are people like Christmas is coming. Rwandese cannot fly to our country directly. They have to fly into this country, then fly to Uganda. Rwandese are not allowed to go into Uganda, because when they're in Uganda, they are suspected to be spies. They are arrested by Ugandan authorities. When you are in Rwanda, and you are Ugandan, you are also suspected to be a spy, spying for the Uganda government. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are these the Pan-Africans that we look at? Are we looking at two people, Burundi and Rwanda? Rwandese don't go to Burundi. Burundi don't come to Uganda, to Rwanda. What is the problem? Today in Somalia, this is the same person has gone up to Djibouti, told Djibouti and Somalia to unite to make sure that they oppose anything that Kenya brings. Does it occur to you that we are in very big trouble? Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you, and God bless you. I want you to listen now to our second part, the reasons. And Miriam will bring them out. I've just given you an opener, that there is a country who controls a satellite state in East and Central and the Horn of Africa. Any student of Great Lakes region history, political history and political science will understand that someone is controlling Djibouti. Someone is telling Djibouti, we shall marshal the numbers and we don't want Kenya to take. Someone is labeling Kenya as a country that cannot solve conflicts. Yet, George Soros is always in Djibouti capital. George Soros and his money is in Djibouti capital. George Soros operates with impunity. NGOs of Open Society Foundation, the same intermediaries that collected witnesses during the Kenyan case, are still here. They are here. They are here. And I told you, I don't know what Makau Mutua can tell me today. After this report of ICC, Mr. Makau Mutua, what do you say? I said it in 2008 that the intermediaries collecting information, the same are telling Djibouti, don't worry, we shall deliver you to the altar of United Nations General Assembly. Don't worry, we shall deliver you and get you the majority votes that you want. Don't worry, there is quite a lot. I am the subject of any type of international discussion that I do. And I make it very clear that I have nothing to fear, but to tell the truth. I've told you about South Sudan. It is going to chaos because there is a proxy country, a proxy war controlling Djibouti. The same country controls Somalia. The same country controls Burundi. The same country tries to control Uganda. The same country plays politics around those areas. If you are not careful, my dear people, there will be chaos. Over to you, Miriam. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. And in case you're wondering what Dr. Matanga is talking about, just a bit of some background. He's given us an overview of what is happening, especially in the row between Djibouti and Kenya, which started when the whole of African Union actually agreed after a vote in the African Union. Kenya got 37 out of, and Burundi got 13 when they were seeking to go to represent Africa in the non-permanent United Nations Security Council slot there. And so Djibouti was defeated, and normally as a formality in AU, any African country that has been elected through that process, it gets the whole backing of all the member states of African Union. But this time, Djibouti, even after agreeing to the initial laws, a few days later, they backpedaled and decided they were still going to vie for this seat in the United Nations. And we saw these events playing out during the United Nations General Assembly in New York a few months ago, when Kenya and Djibouti took their bruising battle to the United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat to New York, with each country's diplomats trying to outdo the other in lobbying for the seats. Now, of course, Djibouti, which lost to Kenya in the election for the African Union representative for the UN Security Council seat, played up Nairobi's current boundary dispute with Somalia as an indicator that the country could not be trusted to handle regional security matters. So that was the argument that Djibouti was presenting while it was lobbying to have this seat. So the lobbying still continues. And also during that meeting, the UNGA meeting there, we saw Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as the chairperson of African Union, are trying to reach out to Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta and Djibouti's President Ismail Omar, and just trying to mediate between them and see if the countries could agree. But after that meeting, what Al-Sisi came out to say, he said that, you know what, Djibouti has insisted and is still continuing with its efforts to vie for this seat. So that is just, the background of this story. So now we saw this rivalry or this simmering, sort of acrimonious, it's becoming very acrimonious now, a relationship between Kenya and Djibouti play out during an IGAD meeting last week, where now Djibouti is not very happy with Kenya and Ethiopia now, and is saying that Kenya and Ethiopia, they've been having a rotational chairmanship of this IGAD for quite a while now, for about 7 years. Kenya and Ethiopia has been domineering in this lot, and Djibouti was not happy. So Djibouti has been eyeing the position of the executive secretary, and it was complaining that the two countries have dominated the leadership of the development and security regional organization and have allegedly swayed most decisions in the 8-member body in the favor. So last Wednesday, a diplomat has said that both Somalia and Djibouti, who have been opposed to Kenya taking over the chairmanship, had not relented, meaning a new country could take the position as a compromise. So they're saying they do not want Kenya or Ethiopia to take this. That is Djibouti and Somalia, they've ganged up together. So they're saying they'd rather have Sudan or perhaps even Uganda take up the IGAD leadership there. So the wrangles have trickled from Kenya and between Kenya and Djibouti on the United Nations Security Council non-permanent membership, and now it has come down to IGAD. So you understand, when you have such wrangles in a very important body like IGAD, you can see why even finding a solution for a country like South Sudan can be a daunting task, and has defeated IGAD to spearhead even the efforts of the peace efforts in South Sudan. And we saw that over the report that was presented by a panel of experts to the United Nations Security Council, saying that IGAD has really failed in its role in regards to bringing peace in South Sudan. So when you see the member states are wrangling like this, now you understand why. If this body is not stable, as it appears not to be, then how can they bring stability to a country like South Sudan? So this is just the basis of our conversation today. So there has been some information and some allegations that there are other powers that are behind this move by Djibouti, it pedaling back on accepting the defeat it had during the AU, voting secret ballot, and it lost to Kenya, but still it continued, and it has been very persistent and insisted it will go and run for this slot anyways. That is going against how AU operates here. So that is the basis of our conversation today. So thank you so much. Continue writing to us and engaging with us on this very, very important, matter.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Any questions you have for me? I'm ready. But first of all, let me be very categorical to Africans. There is one thing that we fail to do. And that's why we always find weaknesses, divisions within African Union. Sometime last year, I published a report that singled out a non-African state that had captured the African Union. That report can be got on www.panafricanforum.com. LOTD.com. The report, there are 4 good reports, well-detailed intelligence reports, not from local intelligence, serious intelligence network and investigative channels, where I detailed why African Union has been captured. And captured by who? by a non-African state. A non-African state maneuvers and comes in behind the scenes, captures African Union. A non-African state comes and tells Djibouti, please, you also put in your application. A non-African state, African Union state, comes in and says, don't worry, if you do this for us, we shall give you this. We all forget all of a sudden. That's why there are wars in Africa. Today, if you look at the wars in Nigeria, the Igbo people, the Biafrans are being killed, maimed on a daily basis. No African country is standing up to say there is a very big danger that southeastern Nigeria, the reports, the pictures coming from there are very horrible. In Abazonia, Cameroon, we have the same state. A non-African state has captured that state, allowed the Abazonians to be slaughtered in thousands. No African is standing up to say we have had enough of this. In South Sudan, you see Riek Machar pulling his feet on a daily basis. You see Salva Kiir saying he is defeated. He got to the extent of hiring international mercenaries, a mercenary like Mr. Rainbagger. Ambassador Rainbagger is a mercenary. You hire him to come and do what for you? He will only accelerate you are going to hell. Because here in Nairobi, what he did to the people of Kenya when he was an ambassador, he accelerated, they are going to the ICC. And today, the same things that I pointed a finger at that ambassador. I told him openly in open space on TV that that ambassador is the one who faked the cases because he wanted certain people removed from the space of Air Kenya, take them away. Where is the problem in Africa? Where is the problem? Have we lost the will to speak as one continent? The answer is yes.
Yes, indeed. I see our viewers here are writing in, and Ali Ahmed here is saying they could not even fix, I think he's saying IGAD could not even fix Somalia, but filled its wars over the years. IGAD has clearly is part of Somalia problem rather than the solution. And Zibuda Chidi there is saying Nigerian killing Biafrans there. And also some... I don't know, I can't see that, but yes. So it's clear the war that is going on between Djibouti. Initially you'd think it's only for the slaughter of the United Nations Security Council, which normally is a friendly competition or selection. But now it appears there are other undertones of animosity that is coming from Djibouti. I don't know where this could be coming from.
Thank you very much. Where it is coming from, it's very simple, Miriam. There is a country that said it will build us LAPSET. Where is that LAPSET? Where is it? Kenya decided to build a LAPSET on its own, and we are progressing. They went to Uganda and said no to Tanzania, and told Tanzania Magufuli that no. We shall build the Tanga, Mwanza quickly. Carry the Chinese, carry them out. Then after that, they told Mr. Magufuli that there must be a condition. If you don't do this, we do this. Mr. Magufuli said, no, I'm sorry. Nyerere will turn up one morning, and if he finds that I've done what you are telling me to do, he will dismiss me. Mr. Magufuli said, no. That railway between Tanga and Mwanza is still off on. You don't hear much about it. That country disappeared. That country again, he went to South Sudan looking for oil. And it is called Total Oil. You remember Total Oil arrived somewhere in Kenyan capital and had a press conference. They said we have been looking for oil in South Sudan and we didn't get any. And can we please ask Kenya to tell Taruo oil, can we buy something? Can we buy something? You see, the problem of Suguta Valley, if you look at how many NGOs with briefcases funded in Suguta Valley from a certain country in Europe, you can close your eyes and go to hell or heaven, according to what God has told you where to go. Because I'm not God. But I assume everybody cannot be judged here, but will be judged by God up there. The number of NGOs in Kenya, the number of NGOs that pretend to do even research for what, for ecology, this, there are very many around that Suguta Valley. And you notice that the entire Suguta Valley of Kenya is full of insecurity. Where does this insecurity come from? Where? That's why I sided with President Museveni on Karamoja. In our country, Uganda, that same country had almost 60 NGOs in Karamoja. In Karamoja district, which is West Pokot neighborhood with us, the same European country had over 60 NGOs, funding them every morning, every evening. But the purpose of funding was not very clear. Was either smuggled diamonds and the gold. Karamoja has gold, pure gold in the whole of Africa. You can't get it anywhere. And we had that problem until President Museveni came and said, enough is enough. He swept that place, collected the guns. Our country, our Karamoja is now peaceful. You can have a beer, a soda, a Fanta, a Coca-Cola, and cross over to Mr. Lapoyo. What is it, the governor of West Pokot? Lanyanga Paul. Lanyanga Paul. Mr. Lanyanga Paul, when he crosses over to Uganda to have a beer, he goes with too many military men to escort him. But as soon as they reach the border, they are disarmed and are told, leave your guns here, because we don't need a gun on the other side. Can you imagine? These are the same people. These are the same people. So you check on this country, look at what is happening. Why is Djibouti adamant? Why? Because somebody has told you that this is a security ballot. Tutakupatia kura. Endelea. Endelea usitoe candidate yako. Endelea, sisi usiku tutaambia watu wetu, leta kureni, kura, mpige kura kwa nyinyi, sababu is a security ballot. And then these same countries during that time come and say, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Is this Christmas again? Hallelujah, hallelujah. This is what we have, Miriam. They are here. And when you tell people to tackle there are people who benefit from them. Next week, before I go for Christmas, I will name them. I will name Kenyans who benefit from this country. I will name Kenyans who write good reports at night for this country. Very soon, tumefikana hapa katikati, karibu kabisa. Tamwaga, tatoa hii kitu. So it's that good Swahili. I don't want to bring very bad Swahili on. The Swahili yangu ilikuwa mzuri lakini ilipotea. Makati nilifika Malaba, it started dying. But then the worst thing is that when I was going back to Tanzania, I always check my Tanzanian friend. And my friend, Lieutenant General Black Mamba Muzuguri. is still alive. Mzee Paulo Kanga is that Dr.
Kagi.
Is he the Tanzanian guy? Yes.
Paul Kagi, I think.
Yes. Dr. Lieutenant General Muzuguri. May you live longer, Baba. That was commander. You see, you carry his small briefcase. By then, there used to be smaller briefcase of commanders. So, thank you very much, sir Muzuguri. You liberated us. We were under the yoke of Idi Amin. But thank you very much. I want to thank everybody who has watched. Diplomatic Leaks always comes at an hour when you open. Give Kenya, let Kenya mobilize every African state. Let those in the diaspora. Engage every embassy. Tell your ambassador that when this voting takes place, vote Kenya. We are adding a voice to the voice of Friend and the Commonwealth Friend Office, which is doing very well, which is doing its campaign. But behind this campaign, there are intrigue, a lot of intrigue. We are opening up your eyes to see the country that is manipulating you as you travel to Bangkok, Thailand, where all these Asian countries. They go back at night. They say tutakupatia dispensary, vote for Djibouti. That is what has killed Africa. And I was telling people that again, elections in African Union is coming. We are going to make the same mistake. The same mistake. I'm telling you, we are going to make the same mistake. This election is coming when you have not got even an African passport. The only thing we have got is trade, which we cannot even trade in up to now. We can't carry even anything. Unajaribu kuingia Tanzania na kitu on your head, they even arrest you and you lose the goods. Confiscated because you are smuggling them. Yet you are going into another African country. So there are so many things East African community itself cannot meet. You have traders, people who, all these trucks that travel from here to there. Where do they go? They go to Rwanda, they go to Congo. They can't. Trucks have only remained going to Congo. Some of us, our trucks are held in Rwanda. We are suffering over nothing. We are suffering today. So many businessmen are suffering. You can't, okay, you have closed your border. Why don't you allow us to take our goods? Even the trucks have committed a crime. Do you know that there are people here who depend on those trucks and whose Christmas is going to be very dull? And these are some of the things that we in Africa can talk about. And of course, Mohammed Abdi, the usual guy from Mogadishu, we support Djibouti. Thank you very much. It's an African country. We haven't said it's not Africa. So you have your right to support it. Thank you very much. But we are saying we support Kenya. We stand by Kenya. I'm happy that my country has said it will support Kenya. So I'm not worried about what to vote. They will always vote, even if it is in darkness. They will not vote upside down. And Paul Kagi again has come with something. AU is weak, hardly resolve sort of conflicts in the continent. IGAD is struggling with issue of South Sudan, not delivering anything. People are suffering beyond human capacity. That is the truth and the sad truth. Over to Miriam.
Yes, indeed. And so we were looking at, is Djibouti a satellite state in Africa? And particularly, we were just paying attention to the row between Kenya and Djibouti and other players that are really acting in fueling this row. We thought it was just a friendly diplomatic competition. when it comes to this United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat. But now we see that the turn in which this is taking, there seems to be some undertones of other things that we may not be knowing of, seeing now that Djibouti does not even want Kenya to chair the IGAD and also to be at the helm of the leadership of IGAD anymore. They're saying, you know what, Kenya and Ethiopia have had this thing for a very long time. And now there's another argument that is fronted, you know, from that both Addis Ababa and Nairobi, that is Ethiopia and Nairobi, domination of the bloc, is that they are the largest contributors to the IGAD budget and currently have no arrears. The two pump in at least $2.7 million each year. And so Kenya and Ethiopia, that is why they feel, okay, we are going to put our money where our mouth is, okay? So they feel, maybe they feel entitled to be at the helm of the leadership. We've seen a country like Eritrea does not even contribute so much. Sometimes there's a time it removed itself from IGAD and then it was back again. And other countries, membership there are not very, very stable and perhaps do not contribute to the smooth running of IGAD. But we see now Djibouti coming in and saying, you know what, we do not want Kenya to be at the leadership, or Ethiopia of IGAD. So we see it's having a problem even after Kenya won the seat after the AU voting that Kenya should have the slot of the non-permanent member, the United Nations Security Council. And now we see the wrangles have come down to IGAD. I'm just hoping these kinds of things will not really interfere with the workings of IGAD, which is already, member states are having a problem. Even some questions were raised last week over its ability to solve conflicts and bring peace and be at the leadership helm in the region. Last week during a panel was said that when it was presenting their findings on South Sudan to the United Nations Security Council. And Dundi Ume, you're saying, Dr. Matsanga, thank you for exposing the atrocities going on, but to be honest with you, there's nothing with one voice in Africa after independence. Again, Pan-Africanism don't exist now unless during early African liberation movement to emancipate us of colonial, terrorists, and slavery. Okay, such a long message there, but thank you so much. And you end there by saying, after both in military and democracy creating more distractions than ever before, emerging France and Britain are still in charge, controlling African resources with impunity unchallenged. And up there, Ogebe Omot Chan, you're saying Guten Tag to you, and thank you so much for watching. That is good afternoon. And Graham Sasus, you're saying they close all the borders so that Namdi Kanu cannot see way to come in. Namdi Kanu there cannot come to even bury his mother. So thank you so much. This has been Diplomatic Circles. Doctor, is there something else that we can add before we say our byes to our viewers, and then you can see them tomorrow?
I think there's nothing much to add other than calling upon the people of Kenya to continue reading the BBI, which you did very well this morning. And we hear there are so many other people also gathering to go and read. That's very good. But the president was very clear that if you are not here, you are not there. So either you help him to rebuild this country, or you just stand off. So while we are on air, I understand Mr. Cherengai, the senator of Nandi, has been arrested.
The senator of Nandi, what happened?
For hate speech.
What did he say this time?
Another one. He has said something bigger. You see, there is something to close as we have 1 minute. There's something wrong with around Nandi. The governor himself
is in trouble with the law.
Is in trouble with the hate.
Yes.
And then the senator is in trouble. But Katel, the other one, what Alfred Katel is kept off. Katel. You remember Alfred Katel? The controversial MP of Nandi. The one who told William Ruto off. He's off guard. He no longer talks. I don't know whether is Alfred Cartel still alive. And I don't hear him at all. He's my younger friend, a younger man friend of mine.
Maybe he's busy serving the people there of Cherengani.
Yes. I think he has bolted out, and I quietly told he was with Kutuni, but he left Kutuni alone.
Kutuni is the Cherengani member of parliament.
Yes. But Cherengani is the man arrested. Senator Cherengani, this was a younger man. I used to meet him when he was going to The Hague over the cases of the deputy president. And I used to go there, although the deputy did not want me to go there. I used to go forcefully. Anyway, he can't block me in Europe. But I used to go inside there to see what I can help until I helped Professor Harvey Maupin to collapse under Rule 68. By the way, there is a assembly of state parties taking place today. It is on up to sometime 8th, something like that. It is on. And I have liked it. I want to take this opportunity to thank the British government for the statement they made. I don't know whether they were getting my words, but thank you very much, Your Excellency, Her Majesty's government, for the position you have made. That accountability. You cannot just tell us you lost 1 billion euros. It went. When did you know the cases were not worth it? So I want to take this opportunity to thank the British government for the statement they made last night in The Hague, in the Assembly of State Parties. Thank you very much. And thank you, hallelujah. Thank you for the support. And there we go. So you either start now, depart, because that route we shall catch you. You know, you see the route where we are going to catch Fatou Bensouda. That route. There. You have a house in Hampstead. And you have failed international community. You want to come and hide there? Fatou Bensouda, I told you always to rely on facts. You said I was a very bad man. Now there you are. I wish, and I hope you have, anyway, you got a copy of the British government position. I'm one of the few people very impressed. I don't know. Am I impressed? Yes, thank you very much, Her Majesty's government, for the statement. So, Mr. Riak, watch. There is a country there. Please, time is ticking. We shall start counting these days before Christmas.
I counted to the 12th of November. I got exhausted. So perhaps I'll start in February. The deadline is 22nd.
Thank you very much, viewers. Take care wherever you are. Always enjoy Punchline Africa TV. It's the only station in Africa that says what it is. Diplomatic Leaks returns next Tuesday for the last show of because the other Tuesday will be the Christmas, isn't it? So Christmas starts. But next week, Diplomatic Leaks starts. I think we shall return. Then we have another week before. 2 weeks, we have 2 Diplomatic Leaks. We always leak the few things that we can get. I want to thank Miriam for having done a great job today. In the morning, I left you to suffer alone.
I did not suffer. It's a pleasure to serve Africans. It's not suffering.
She didn't suffer. Where is Mr. Nganga?
He was here in the morning, actually.
Oh!
It was great company.
So Mr. Nganga only comes when I'm not there.
That is not true.
Why was he here and he's not here now?
He's working now, I think. It's morning there. Must have reported to work. But thank you so much. We'll see you here tomorrow.
This man has said, don't let them buy you, okay? They are looking for a way to buy up, open your eyes very well. No. They wrote a very good statement against the ICC investigations. That is what I meant. Yes. They wrote a very good statement. On Nigeria, they have messed up. The British have not been very helpful on Nigeria. Perhaps my Nigerian friends who are in London, one of these days we should have a meeting. I'll look out for my old friends. By the way, Miriam, I had something for you from London because it is very, very important at the moment. I don't know how I forgot. I had something which you should start working on so that you have your documents.
We'll talk about that after the show.
No, it is. We need to advertise it here also. It is not after the show. It is something for them also. You continue talking while I pull it out.
I'm done talking, but tomorrow in the Good Morning Africa show, we're going to look at Mugabe's money. Apparently, how much he owned, how much he left, and how much Grace stands to benefit.
How do you...
And he did not even leave a will, so we will talk about that tomorrow.
So has it brought chaos?
No, not really. Maybe it will, but he only has one wife, so good for Grace.
One wife?
Yes. So there is not going to be any squabbles. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
The Commonwealth, Miriam, and this is, the Commonwealth will hold the annual Commonwealth Africa Summit 2020 will be held in London. And in the Caribbean of Commonwealth Week, in the celebration of the Commonwealth Week, it will be held between 8th and the 12th of March 2020 in Westminster Palace, in Westminster in London, United Kingdom. You can now prepare yourself, most of those delegates. It is also the time for the Commonwealth Journalists Association. As a member of the Commonwealth Journalists Association, I am the chapter for London and other people. We welcome all the journalists from Africa to attend this conference. On the sidelines, there will be many discussions regarding journalism, Africa, and so on. So mark that date, Miriam. That's why I'm saying it is a very important activity for Punchline, for you at least to try to be in those places and arrange to be part and parcel of the discussions in London on between 8th and 12th of March. And you have forgotten there is.
Thank you, and I'll check my schedule.
Chatham House.
I'll check my schedule and see how that will work with that.
Not checking the schedule.
Thank you.
You are going to be sent. You are being sent by
Punchline.
Yes.
Okay.
And don't forget my speech in the Chatham House. Did you mark the date?
No, you did not give the date.
No, it is. I gave the date. She's around the same time.
Oh, it's around in
Yes.
All right.
The speech will be there on 7th.
Oh.
Powerful speech in the Chatham House. So, members, there you are. Has the American foreign policy collapsed in Africa? Hey, why? That is where we are. I hope by then Trump will not be the president. It's elections. November next year or when? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now it's the impeachment process now.
Yeah, but all the same he'll go through because he has a Senate. Mm-hmm. There's a Senate which has majority. They can't afford to.
No, they can't.
But American, it could be like Nixon. Nixon was voted out by his own. The Senate had less, but the other man just joined.
But with this
Republicans joined.
This new breed of Republicans are
they are
interesting laws.
The ones who don't like that Kasimoro girl from Kenya in Kitale, Mairo Moja. And then she says she's from Somalia. She's from Kitale. That Kagali is not like this. The current one is they can't afford to lose. They will not. And thank you very much, viewers. That is all. Don't forget 8th to 12th, the Commonwealth Africa Summit. We shall publicize it, and I think let me send it to Miriam so that she doesn't forget, and she plans for it.
I'll see if I can slot it in my schedule.
No, you have to. It is, but this is an open invitation. There will be people you don't want to meet people from Ogutu, from.
Well, do we see our viewers tomorrow? Because now they're listening into the
No, I'm still advertising. I've sent it, so send it to many people so that I come. For viewers, this was my show, and I would like to hand it over to Miriam to finish, and we call it a day.
I think we're done. Let's see you tomorrow. Good Morning Africa, 11 a.m. East African time. Make a date with us. A lot is happening in Africa, and a lot of things have happened. So let's meet tomorrow for an update. Thank you so much.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.